This story is about this virgin beast tamer loser who got cheated on and abandoned by his ex-girlfriend just because a random dude was far richer and more powerful than him. His occupation led him to be bullied, and eventually, he gave up. Luckily, the soul of the most powerful savior of their world was transferred to his body. Now let's witness how this overpowered being changes the life of our loser MC. The title of the manhwa is I Awoke as a God After Battling for 1,000,000 Years. Enjoy the recap. The story begins when the sky emitted tons of golden lightning at the same time, and it struck down Linhai City at the Dragon Kingdom. Countless monsters wormed their way into reality from the other world, causing humanity to face the biggest calamity that it has ever seen. Thankfully, the heavens never abandon humanity. A mysterious mark suddenly appeared on the back of every human's hand, and through it, they awoke a variety of unique occupations. From then on, the era of changing occupations to become hunters was kick-started for humanity. Amongst the many who became awakened, there were only 3 people with mythic ranked classes, one of which is from the United States of America, a Ghostblade user named Alphard. From Russia, there's a Hell Dragon rider named Rastif, and lastly, the Frost Nation Frost Mage King, Quan Jixian. As the mythic ranked occupations far outclassed the rest, it led to the Lighthouse Kingdom, Russian, and the Frost Nation to overtake all other countries in their rate of progress on conquering other countries. 100 years ago, a prodigy like them had once appeared in the Dragon Kingdom as well. Dragon Kingdom's top expert is named Asura. Within a mere 10 years, he created the highest record ever found in China, and became the first one to make it through the 70th world. However, when the strongest 9th-rank monster wave invaded Earth, Asura, who has changed classes 8 times, died defending against the rift. He sacrificed himself to protect the kingdom. It was the 100th anniversary of Xu Luo's death as a hero. During the memorial ceremony launched in the capital city the day before yesterday, all the Dragon Kingdom's top hunters appeared to attend the ceremony. And at the same time, statistics showed that the kingdom had 12,350,000 awakeners for that year, which is 11.3% more than last year, and the highest record since the Otherworld had first descended upon Earth 10 years ago. 10% of awakeners are currently made up of core hunters, which has greatly surpassed the number of awakeners that had been awakened during Asura's birth year. Because of that, they were hoping to witness another appearance of the next Asura. A man is lying down in his bare room. While listening to news that the main gate to the Otherworld is about to open, hunters were advised to prepare themselves. The man looked lifeless with a bottle of pills beside him. Again, the news was repeated. But when the man heard that hunters are asked to prepare themselves, the man looked horrified. All of a sudden, he sat up. It was like he's a different person now. This man looked around to figure out where he was because he thought he'd die. His head hurt so much. Then he started seeing fragments of painful memories, like working a difficult job, being told that he's a trash, not being able to pay his brother's medical fees, complaining being a monster tamer in a poor family, and with all of these piling up, he decided to end his life by overdosing on pills. The confused man wondered whose memories are those. He never imagined that he would be reincarnated into the body of someone with the exact same name as him 100 years later. He recalled that the man was a monster tamer. The monster tamer class mainly relies on their pets to fight. Other than raising their own level, their pet's growth attribute can't fall behind either. Someone had once analyzed that in order to nurture a powerful monster tamer, one would need to be at least as wealthy as an entire nation. To an ordinary person, awakening as a monster tamer would indeed be bad news. Now he knew the story of the good-for-nothing young Zhang Yue who failed at life and took his own life. He looked at the picture on the wall. This reincarnated person was the opposite of that. He was once the strongest awakener in the whole Dragon Kingdom and was well known with the name Asura, since he had already taken over the body and had been revived once again. He decided to bear all the man's responsibilities and regrets and conquer the other world where the weak are at the mercy of the strongest. It's his gesture of showing his gratitude. There was an announcement again that the main gate to the other world is about to open. The man stood before the gate, and he opened it. A bright ring of light appeared. It was the spatial gate. He entered it. The system greeted Asura and reported that he had been offline for 36,552 days. He stood there while several window screens opened. He had received ability power points of $221,066,496,000. The system congratulated him on being the first to defeat a 9th rank monster wave. He had completed the mythic rank achievement in a class of his own. For that, he had obtained a reward which is a mythic rank treasure. Supreme Divine Decree. The Supreme Divine Decree will be activated automatically. He also obtained a permanent buff, which is a 10,000-fold increase in earning ability power in the other world, whilst both online and offline. The effect has been applied to him, and he has obtained an additional 99x offline rewards, which totals to 2,110,143,893,503,000 ability points. He was surprised to see quadrillions of ability power. It was a generous reward for clearing the highest-ranked monster wave in the world. The system notified him that he also had obtained a class reset. He was asked to choose from one of the 7 mythic rank core classes. The choices are Knight Undead Death Knight, Warrior, Dark Swordsman, Assassin, Shadow Reaper, Priest, Divine Priest, Mage, Hellfire Mage, Archer, Spectral Hunter, Monster Tamer, Necromancer. Asura awoke as an epic class warrior 100 years ago, but the strongest core class in the other world during that time was actually the Monster Tamers. The only issue with that occupation is the astronomical amount of ability power needed for them to level up themselves and their pets, causing growth for that class to be immensely difficult. However, since he had been reincarnated and even have 1,000,000 years worth of offline ability power, his top choice is naturally the Necromancer. The system congratulated him on becoming the Otherworld's 4th mythic rank core hunter, Necromancer, Monster Tamer's advanced class. He received an initial 100-star rating. It was strong as expected of a mythic rank class. A Necromancer is a messenger revived from the underworld. A Necromancer has command over the strength of the dead. Only death is able to excite a Necromancer. A Necromancer has a magic attack growth, 25-star, mana growth 18-star, vitality growth 20-star, physical defense growth 18-star, and magic defense growth 19-star. It has skills like Harvest Souls, Spectre Evolution, and Death Reduction. An ordinary Monster Tamer pet's intellect is obtained through rare mission rewards, and it's impossible to improve their character. Asura didn't expect a Necromancer to not only evolve their pets, but also be able to harvest other monsters and make them their pets, as expected of a mythical rank class. In his previous life, he relied on an epic rank class to clear 70 worlds within merely 10 years and became the top ranker in China. Since he's starting out with a mythical rank class in that life, he decided to perfectly clear every last world and become the strongest not just in China, but the entire world. The sun rose. Asura entered a portal and was welcomed in the first world of the other world, the source of nightmares. The safe zone he has been matched to by the system according to his log and location is Doomsday Village. He was asked if he will be continuing to use the ID Asura, or if not, he must confirm his new ID. He decided to change his ID to 0. He made it sure that in his new life, he's destined to surpass Asura's existence, and the only thing that surpasses all else is 0. He walked around the other world. A woman was fascinated by how close it is to being in the real world. Another man was confused as well because they expected the other world to be filled with monsters. A man replied that they are in the safe zone and the monsters are outside of that. They were notified that the first world's mission had been released. It was in the mission panel. People started preparing for it, like finding a party to join or the materials that they would need. The system window displayed details about the source of nightmares, First World. When darkness shrouded the earth, the monsters who were in a deep slumber underneath awake, and the world will eventually ruin into a calamity. As the sole survivor, the 0 must break the doomsday pattern, break the multiple calamities, and crush the darkness. The first mission is to kill a total of 1,000 monsters in the first world. Second, he must collect a total of 10 silver coins by killing monsters or carrying out missions. When he has completed the above missions, he can activate the first world's boss instant teleportation tunnel, defeat the boss, and advance to the second world. Zero noticed that the normal layout of the other world didn't change much. He decided to buy some equipment first before doing the missions. He was welcomed in a shop. The equipment shop owner is Chelsea. He asked him what he needed. Zero also noticed that the system's equipment shop is also the same as before. It can only provide some basic crude items. Even the best equipment they have is only 1 star. Chelsea told Zero that if he isn't satisfied with those, he can provide a higher graded equipment for a few more copper coins. Zero dropped a bag filled with 100 copper coins, then he asked for a star magic staff. The other buyers around him were astonished. Zero received the staff. After that, people flocked to Zero. They were all surprised with his move since they were only given a total of 100 copper coins and he had spent all of them. One person added that 1-star magic stuff can't add much attack power either. He was advised that instead of buying a single 1-star weapon, he would be better off buying a full set of crude items. Zero thanked them for their advice and walked away. A woman expressed her opinion that although only the weapons with a higher number of stars can be refined, the attack power would also be increased. The man replied that refining weapons require ability power, and they can only be obtained through missions to farm monsters with a low drop rate. He added that there isn't even enough of such valuable things to level up. Only a brain-dead person would do that. They continued to gossip while watching Zero walk away. He judged him to suffer later on since he doesn't have money left and had no Zero defensive power. They all thought that it's impossible to do anything without money. To the normal newbie hunter, it is indeed not worth it to spend all money on a 1-star equipment. The ability power obtained by normal hunters from farming monsters is very limited, so it just wouldn't be possible for them to afford to refine 1-star equipment. Zero's weapon is called Raging Inferno Magic Staff with a 1-star. Its magic power is 5 and its level is 0. Zero is aware that he's lacking one thing, and that's the ability's power. When he spends 1 point of ability power on refining, he has a 10% chance of increasing his green attribute. The higher the attribute, the greater the cost of refinement, and the lower the chances of success. He was asked if he wanted to refine. He replied yes. He was prompted again, and he continuously replied to keep refining. His staff glowed as the refinement continued to be successful. He watched the notifications. And later on, he was informed that his equipment has already been upgraded to the highest tier. The system screen showed him that after 132 single-touch refinements with a total of 985 ability power points spent, he had obtained the gold attribute. Now his weapon is Scorching Pioneer Magic Staff. Refining 132 points showed the true power of having quadrillions of ability power points. His staff has the characteristic called Scorch, wherein every time the user attacks, it will inflict the enemy with a 3-second burn status. The enemy will lose 20 health per second. With that, Zeron's preparations are complete. It's time for him to put on a good show. At the first world, the origin of nightmares. It was the beginning of the nightmares of all the novice hunters. A hunter slashed a world with his sword, but it had no effect. The hunter was scared. It made him wonder what is the rank of that fucking monster. It had so much health that it's impossible to deal any significant damage, yet one strike from it will kill them. Suddenly, a gold orb of light appeared. It was magic that eliminated that monster. The burn effect from Scorching Pioneer Magic Staff has been inflicted. Zero watched the corpse of the monster. The system informed him that he had defeated that mutated giant rat which earned him 2 EXP and 1,000 points. 10,000-fold increase in ability points buff applied. Zero is a mythic hunter with maxed out base attribute buff, as well as max level equipment. Ordinary hunters need to team up to kill the mutated giant rat, yet I can kill one with a single shot. Other hunters noticed him. They were all curious about him since he dealt insane damage and he has all the good equipment. One woman wondered if he's an experienced hunter, but the guy refutes that. There's no way someone would have so many ability points to refine an early game newbie magic staff. They couldn't help but think of Zero as a big shot. Zero was thinking that since those level 1 monsters give him too little experience, he needed to kill monsters that are on a higher level than him to maximize his experience gain. In the first world, the origin of nightmares, other than low-ranked mutated giant rats, there's also level 3 to 4 poisonous spiders, level 5 to 7 armored scorpions, and level 8 to 9 frenzied wild boars. Lastly, the final boss of the first world, a level 10 berserk wild boar king. Now, his best option is to hunt the level 3 and above monsters at the abandoned factory. He was about to walk away. But he was blocked by those hunters. They wanted to recruit him in their party by enticing him that they have healer, tank, DPS. The women tempted him with their body too. But Zero was scared when he replied that he didn't need it, so they just backed off. They watched him walk away. Then they talked about his scary aura that's even worse than those monsters. They noticed that Zero was heading to the abandoned factory. They had heard that all the monsters in there have high levels and are extremely dangerous. They wondered if he intended to fight those monsters all alone. They couldn't help but think that the big shot is way different from regular people like them. There was a large rat with its mouth wide open. The screen showed that he had killed a level mutated giant rat. It granted him 2 EXP and 1,000 ability points. Then he killed a level 3 poisonous spider which granted him 8 EXP and 3,000 ability points. He then killed another poisonous spider consecutively. Zero had leveled up, which also increased his vitality to 30 plus 12 mana and free 6 attribute points. He is currently at level 2, and 250 EXP points are required for the next level up. He targeted another spider. His attack created an explosion. Now, he only needs 100 EXP to level up. The scene was left with several monster corpses. He was congratulated for unlocking the first skill slot and obtained the starting skill, Tiny Fireball. He never thought that the level-up reward for mythic rank hunters would be 6 times higher than ordinary hunters. Even by just leveling up by 3 levels, he already got as much as 18 free attribute points. The early game growth path of a monster tamer is the same as a mage. So, he still needs to minimize his casting time, stabilize his damage output, and increase agility. As for the starting skill, normal hunters with limited ability points usually won't waste their points on upgrading it since it doesn't have much power. Zero smiled. Because again, ability points solve it all. He decided to max out. The system confirmed his action, and later on, he had already spent 50 ability points to upgrade. Eventually, his tiny fireball has transformed and become a medium fireball. Its damage has increased to 140% and has gained a special effect of increasing the damage of burn every second by 6%. Zero liked it. Later on, he upgraded it to become an ultra fireball, a grade. It is the highest skill grade possible for his current class rank. He can upgrade once he has undergone his second class change. With that rate of progress, regardless of the outcome, he should be able to hit level 8 once he finishes the first 2 world missions. It will be enough once he challenges the final boss and completes the first clear of the first world. A groaning noise caught Zero's attention. He stood in front of a large door when he asked if someone's there. He opened the door. There he found a hunter whose leg was amputated. This person's name is Carl. He looked at the guy and pondered that aside from the hunter deaths being real, there is no difference between that world and a normal game. There are missions, dungeons, and the NPC in front of him. Carl informed Zero that his wife and children have all been killed by monsters. He sought the help of the adventurer in front of him to kill the loathsome scorpions. The system informs Zero that a storyline has been triggered. He was asked if he will take on the quest, exterminate the scorpions. Zero looked at the equipment obtained from completing the NPC missions, and it's much better than those dropped from killing monsters. Since he only has a magic staff, the mission was worth doing. The mission details are displayed. He needs to exterminate the scorpions. It's a normal mission with a level 10 difficulty. Aside from getting rid of all the scorpions, he was also requested to eliminate the leader, the armored scorpion king. His reward would be plus 500 EXP, plus 1 silver coin, plus 300 random 1-star equipment. Zero sensed that something had moved, but he didn't see anything. He figured out that there aren't just monsters in there. But his priority for now is to complete the mission. There were several eyes watching him from the dark. It's been a while since he saw those scorpions. Armored scorpions creeped out. These are physical type, normal monsters which are at level 5. Basically, these monsters are scorpions that have mutated due to the environmental contamination. The entire body is covered with solid armor, which helps them resist a large amount of damage. When the scorpions have activated the skill guard, the effectiveness of Zero's attacks will decrease. It charged towards Zero, but he was ready for it. Zero's staff glowed. He hit it with his ultra fireball. The armored scorpion activated the skill charge. Zero was able to dodge it, and he prepared to release his magic again. It was so powerful that it engulfed the area in flames. With that, the system notified him that he had defeated a level 5 armored scorpion. He gained plus 115 EXP and 50,000 ability points. While the Ultra Fireball is extremely powerful, it drains the man very quickly. From what Zero could recall, when the number of armored scorpions drops below a certain threshold, the appearance of the armored scorpion king will be triggered much earlier. The monster had finally appeared. It was gigantic and menacing. Zero planned to kill it before all his mana was depleted. He released Ultra Fireball. The armored scorpion king swats it with its tail. It had very little to no effect. It was as strong and tough as Zero remembered it to be. Then it charges towards Zero. Zero was quick on his feet, to move aside and attack from another angle. He blasted his fireball and it burned the monster. He had defeated it. He commented that he was lucky because even though he used up his mana, he managed to stop it from moving. He just needs to finish it off to complete the mission. But then, someone appeared behind him. This man had his sword ready, and another man appeared and stabbed the claw of the scorpion. They planned to steal the final blow. Zero grabbed the man from approaching the scorpion. Zero knew they were there, and finally, they had shown themselves. They were surprised that Zero already knew their plan. Zero knew that even though there are some hunters that level up through honest means, there are also some that specialize in carrying out shady business of killing and stealing from others. It's a shame that they chose the wrong target, since all the enemies that Zero had are 1,000 times stronger than this man. Zero released his power, and an image of a man appeared behind him. The bad hunter got scared. Zero didn't hesitate to blast him away with his fire. The ally of the bad hunter was stunned. He was under the impression that Zero had run out of mana. He asked how Zero could still use his skill. The man realized that Zero isn't a newbie. Zero replied that he just pretended. Had he not did that, they wouldn't show themselves. A purple fire appeared above the golden flames. The system congratulated Zero for activating the necromancer class skill called soul harvesting while killing the armored scorpion king. He was asked if he would like to absorb the armored scorpion king as his pet. He commented that he's lucky to trigger the class so quickly. He absorbed it. Specks of gold flame fell to the ground. Then it turned to a dark violet flame underneath his feet. This flame approaches the enemy. The system informed Zero that he had obtained the armored scorpion king as his pet, and this pet is intimidating the enemy. The necromancer class effects have been activated. The loyalty of Zero's pet, the armored scorpion king, had been maxed out. Zero knew that the reason why it is hard for a monster tamer to grow is because pets need to rely on the monster tamer's EXP to level up. In just the early game, double EXP are needed to level up. As the number of pets grows, the points needed to level them up increase exponentially as well. It's simply impossible for a normal person to afford it. However, EXP points are currently something that Zero had the most. So, he went to use it and upgrade to max level. The Armored Scorpion King's D rank skill guard has risen to A rank. Iron Body rank A is a passive skill that decreases the damage received by the Armored Scorpion by 30%. The man asked who exactly Zero is because it's impossible for a normal monster tamer to be as strong as him. Zero revealed that from the moment he took on the mission, he already sensed that someone was secretly spying on him. He guessed that those guys are assassins who utilize invisibility to hide themselves and attack lone players. And then they happened to receive the mission at the same time, so they planned to ambush him at the last stage and reap the Scorpion King. The man realized that they had offended the wrong person. He knew he needed to run otherwise. Zero challenged him to show how strong he is. And, in a flash, the armored Scorpion King hit the guy in the gut. The guy begged not to be killed. Zero replied that in a world where the wheel is fodder for the strong, if one wishes to consume others, one should be prepared to be eaten. The guy lost life in his eyes when he started to be eaten. After that, the NPC thanked Zero for helping him on his revenge. With that, he considered Zero his buddy. The system screen congratulated Zero for completing the mission. He had obtained 500 EXP points, plus 1 silver coins, and 3,000 ability points. There's also an equipment called Magic Necklace and Armor Boots. Zero also leveled up to level 4. Only 2,000 EXP points are required for the next level up. He decided to take a look at the equipment. The Magic Necklace is at level 4 with 1 star. It is a necklace that was rumored in legends to have been made out of magic itself. It's said that if a person wears it, they would be able to obtain an immense amount of magic. The armor boots are at level 5 with 1 star, and it's a solid boot that provides hunters with a certain amount of defense. Zero commented that he's catered according to his needs. He got equipment that boosts his mana after desperately needing something to strengthen it. He went on to refine the item to the max. He used a total of 24,999 points and received the golden attribute equipment, the sacred origin of magic. Then he spent 2985 ability points and received hero protection armor. With these 2 pieces of equipment, the armored Scorpion King and him will reach level 5 faster. A screen appeared in front of him. The screen displayed a zone announcement. All hunters in the Doomsday Village were told that the hidden dungeon, the Apocalyptic City Level 5, has appeared near the Doomsday Village. The dungeon will remain open for an hour. All hunters were advised to head towards the dungeon to carry out the mission. The first to clear the dungeon will receive a generous reward. The people were surprised to hear about the Level 5 hidden dungeon. Zero knew that being the first to clear it isn't impossible given his current strength. He decided to go for it. The portal had already appeared, so everyone was preparing for it by recruiting a party member. Most of them are aiming to clear it first because of the rewards. A man explained that given their current level, entering the dungeon would be equivalent to suicide. They may earn money, but they might not be alive to spend it. The guy reiterated that it was the sole reason that they should form a team. Zero noticed that there are quite a number of people who want to challenge the dungeon. Someone shoved him to get out of the way. It was a knight in shining gold armor. Someone called this person President. People were curious about who this person was. He is Liu Yao, the son of the wealthiest person in Linhai City, Liu Yue. The 3 biggest pharmacies in Linhai City are all owned by the Liu family. They have a net worth of over billions of dollars. The young master Liu has always acted pompous. Even his underlings are fully equipped with 1-star equipment that costs at least tens of thousands. A woman noticed Zhang Yue. It's Yue's ex-girlfriend. Her name is Lin Yue. She approached him and mocked him for being a normal monster tamer who can't even afford his own rent and is thinking of fighting in the dungeon. Zero was fierce when he asked her if she had a problem with that. She was shocked. She expected him to beg her for another chance since he's a simp. Then she clings on to Yao and tells Yue that only Yao is qualified to be the first to clear the unique dungeons, so he should just stop daydreaming. Yao hugged Yue and mocked Yue for being dumped and advised him to just move on. Yue nonchalantly replied that she was just an old pair of used shoes and Yao could take her if he wanted to. And as for the unique dungeon, he felt that the one who's having such wishful thinking is someone else. That made Yue furious. She wants Yao to teach him a lesson. And instead of being scared, our boy smiled and advised them to treasure their lives more. Yue shouted that he's just acting tough when he's a good-for-nothing. Yao finds it weird that he can't see the man's class clearly, as if it was purposely hidden. Yao waved goodbye since he's in a rush to challenge the dungeon. Yao and his team went to the portal and reminded them to bring their resurrection scrolls. Everyone was pumped up. One man tapped Zero's shoulder and told him to admit defeat, since poor losers like them can't beat those with silver spoons. Zero replied that if the guy sees himself as a poor loser, he should think of ways to become better and stronger. In his head, Zero thought of the original owner of the body and knew that he was indeed a poor loser. But he argued that it had nothing to do with him since he's Asura. The guy replied that Zero is good at bluffing. The man argued that all those men had a resurrection scroll that cost $3,000 per piece. People expected that the Supreme Guild would be the one to clear the dungeon first. Zero knew that most dungeons have a boss monster guarding it. His current strength is more than sufficient to deal with the normal mobs, but he's afraid it isn't enough to deal with the boss monster. He can only guarantee a win if the armored scorpion and him both level up to level 5 and are fitted with both proper equipment and max-level skills. He looked around. Meanwhile, Yao and the others appeared on the other side of the portal. Yuer complained that she was just completely humiliated, but he didn't seek revenge for her. Yao glared at her and told her that there's a lot of people. The losses outweigh the gains if they consider the off chance that someone uses the excuse of Yao killing a hunter as grounds to defame the Liu family and the guild purposely. He assured her that he will make that guy kneel in front of her. Yuer thanked him for that. In another setting, a fire was blasted. Zero was fighting the monsters. A normal monster tamer's pet needs the same amount of experience points as its master. Luckily, the amount of experience points needed by the pet in the necromancer class is reduced to half. In the early game, Zero had to let the armored scorpion kill a few normal mobs, and it would be able to level up quickly. Zero continued to fight. The area was filled with smoke. Behind the rock is the lackey of Yao, who watched Zero. They realized that they misjudged him. As Zero steps forward, he was blocked by a pretty woman who seduced him to carry them. But he's not a simp and just replied, "No way," and moved forward. The system informed everyone that there's only 10 minutes left. Zero decided to raise the defense of the equipped level 5 armored scorpion. It will act as a meat shield at the vanguard, while Zero focuses on doing damage from the back. The armored scorpion king roared loudly. Zero also used equipment that speeds up mana recovery to help him cast fireballs consecutively and increase his efficiency in killing monsters. With all that, 10 minutes was more than enough. He entered the portal. The area was engulfed in flames. Yao and the others were hurt. Yao complained that just a bit more and they would have defeated the boss. But his subordinate explained that they stand no chance against level 7 monsters when they are only at level 2. Yuer told Yao that since the monsters are too powerful, they should just focus on surviving. The subordinate agreed with her and expressed that they should take the chance to use the resurrection scroll to leave while the monsters haven't caught up. Yao sensed something. Someone was coming. They all looked on the cliff where a man stood, and were surprised to see that it was Zero. Yao was furious to see him in that dungeon. He asked Zero if he's not afraid of dying. Zero smirked at him. It triggered Yao to challenge Zero in a battle. Yuer and the subordinate tried to stop him, emphasizing that their survival comes first. Before Yao leaves, he tells Zero that it would be better if he dies in the dungeon rather than Yao killing him. They system welcomed Zero inside the dungeon, where his mission is to kill the dungeon's guardian, the armored scorpion lever, which is a boss monster at level 7. Zero was relieved that they're gone, since he won't be bothered with the noise now. A few moments later, the ground cracked, and the boss monster emerged from underneath. It roared loudly. Zero noticed that its health bar alone is several times stronger than the minions. He instructed his pet to attack. The two scorpions fought each other. Zero was happy with the upgrades of his pet. Then he used his Ultra Fireball, which caused 206 critical damage. The large boss monster stood before him. It attacked him, but his pet protected him. Zero created several fireballs and released a sextuple shot. The boss monster's face was slightly burned. Zero attacked from the front while his pet held the boss monster's body. The enemy roared. It was the last roar before his body collapsed on the ground. Zero commented, "How freaking weak." The system screen displayed that he had cleared the level 5 dungeon, Apocalyptic City, and he obtained the dungeon scroll as a reward. The people were surprised with this announcement. They wondered if Zero is some kind of big shot to be that powerful. They all wondered how he killed the guardian monster when almost everyone is at level 1 to level 3 and the dungeon guardian monster is at level 7. Yao asked if the person was Yuer's ex-boyfriend, since the announcement was released just a few minutes right after the guy entered. Yuer found it ridiculous. She argued that her ex-boyfriend doesn't even have a pet, so there's no way that he would clear that dungeon all alone. Yao was convinced that someone else must have done it. He struck the ground with his sword while saying that the one who had killed the scorpion leader is extraordinary. He told his subordinates to find the person with the ID 0 immediately and scout him. The item drop rate from boss monsters is indeed much higher compared to normal monsters. There were items like the copper coins, blueprints, and even equipment, but the most important item is the scroll. Unupgradable dungeon scroll is worth far more than a few $1,000s. 0 decided to upgrade his scroll straight to the max level. A challenger rank dungeon scroll has never appeared in the first world. If it goes into the market, at the very least, it should go for several hundreds of thousands. To a normal hunter, it is undoubtedly a huge sum of money. But 0's goal was to clear the other world. A notification window displayed that 0 had used a level 5 challenger grade dungeon scroll. He received 1 gold coin and a bounty mission, which is to rescue the survivor. Upon completion of this mission within the time limit, he will be receiving a generous reward. 0 examined the mission and found out that it has a difficulty rating of 100 and an unknown reward that only requires him to escort an NPC. He also received a level 10 map, but unfortunately, 0 is only at level 5. And in addition to that, the monsters that he'll be facing, wild boars, like to appear in groups, so it would be difficult to deal with them. He decided not to stress about it and focus on finding the survivor, Ai-Lin. In the middle of the forest, a girl was being chased by a wild boar. All of a sudden, the wild boar erupted in flames. Slowly, the smoke clears, and it revealed 0. The little girl was glad that a big brother came to save her. The notification window displayed that the survivor, Ai-Lin, has been found. The time remaining for his mission is 10 hours. An angry wild boar appeared. 0 had noticed that the wild boars in the forest got agitated the moment he found Ai-Lin. The wild boar attacked them. 0 released a fireball. The wild boar kept receiving burn damage. But then, several wild boars surrounded them. 0 commented that these wild boars had a lot of stamina. A mythic rank hunter with a gold attribute staff and an A-rank fireball was still unable to deal proper damage to them. If Ai-Lin gets killed in there, 0 will fail the mission. 0 took out the armored scorpion and instructed it to protect him. The wild boars charged all together, but the armored scorpion blocked its attack. 0 released an ultra fireball. It landed on the wild boar. The system notified him that he was able to defeat a level 10 frenzied wild boar, which earned him plus 40 EXP and plus 100,000 ability points. 0 informs the armored scorpion that their strategy is working. He encouraged the armored scorpion to fend off a few more, and they would level up soon. Our MC consecutively defeated those wild boars. The wild boars keep coming, and 0 didn't have enough mana to fend off the attack of the wild boar wave. Ai-Lin asked if he's okay. 0 assured her that he will definitely bring her back. Unexpectedly, a wild boar had run into 0. In response, 0 hit it with the ultra fireball, and it roasted the wild boar. But even then, it still managed to resist the fiery skill. Fortunately, 0 had a bit of health, otherwise he would have been dead after a single hit from the wild boar. He also noticed that the armored scorpion can't hold on for much longer either. 0 didn't expect this mission to be so bothersome. He attacked a wild boar, causing its HP to drop. At the same time, 0 was notified that he had leveled up to level 7. Because of the situation, he decided to upgrade his attack power first. In addition, he used the equipment obtained from farming the scorpions earlier. The item is called Glorious Boss Battle Ring, level 7. It has a penetrate effect, which means that the attacks off someone with the item equipped ignore 20 of the opponent's defense. Again, 0 used a fireball. But this time, it's a more powerful one. It even looked like an energy ball. And it enveloped the fireball and was killed instantly. 0 was amazed. Earlier, he had to cast 80 fireballs to deal any damage, But now, he could kill it with just 2 fireballs. Zero consecutively attacked. After some time, he looked haggard, but he managed to finally shake off the wave of wild boars. Now, he just needs to bring Ai-Lin safely to the Doomsday Village, and the mission will be completed. Someone then appeared, and was surprised to see that Zero had returned from the dungeon alive. It was this loser Liu Yao, and with him was Yu Er. Zero shooed them away since he doesn't want to deal with small fries. Yu Er sang praises for Yao and requested for him to teach Zero a lesson. Yao unsheathes his sword. Zero challenged Yao if he could really kill him. Yu then dashed forward, as he wanted to see whether Zero's mouth was sharper than his sword. Yao's blade hit Zero's shoulder, but it did not penetrate it. Yao couldn't believe it. Yoyer too, since Yao couldn't deal any damage to Zero, despite Zero being just an unarmed beast tamer. Zero asked if he's done, and it's his turn now. Zero showed off his power by releasing a swirl of large flame. And upon seeing that, Yao panicked and threatened Zero that he's from a powerful family, and if he laid a hand on him, he would regret it. But our boy gave zero fucks with all that blabbering. He released his fireball, and Yao was blasted away. Yao complained how he ended up in that state with just a single shot. He turned to dust, leaving his golden armor behind. Zero watched the screen as he called Yao an idiot. In the other world, a hunter's name is usually white. However, when a hunter launches a malicious surprise attack on another hunter with a white name, the assailant's name will turn gray for a short period of time. During this period, the victim's retaliation will be considered an act of defense, and they will not receive any evil value. If the victim fails at retaliating and is killed, the assailant's name will turn red, and they will receive evil value. Under the rules of the other world, the assailant will not be able to log out of the other world even if they enter a safe zone, unless they kill a sufficient number of monsters to clear their evil value, or they wait for their death. Not only will a hunter's levels and experience points decrease when they die, a large number of their equipment and items will also be dropped. Yu Er was taken aback that Zero killed Yao in one shot. She wondered when he became so powerful. She panicked when she saw Zero approaching her, especially when she couldn't use the resurrection scroll since it can only be used twice in a span of 7 days. She already used one to escape the dungeon earlier. If she uses another one now, she wouldn't be able to use it again later. Out of fear, she coaxed him with endearment and sweet words, but Zero and Ai-Lin nonchalantly walked past her. Since Yueir didn't attack Zero, he would be affected if he attacks her. He decided not to waste his time because of insignificant people. Yueir watched them walk away. This bitch then felt angry that Zero dared to ignore her. A few moments later, at a certain home, Ai-Lin thanked Zero since she was able to come back home. The system window congratulated Zero for completing the Challenger rank bounty mission called Rescue the Survivor. He received Ice Magic Staff, a skill book called Tiny Icicle, and a pet egg. He had also leveled up in terms of his vitality plus 30, mana plus 12, and free attribute points plus 6. Zero is currently at level 8 and will need 9,500 EXP to level up again. Our MC then summoned the staff. It is a level 8 Ice Magic Staff. It is a magic staff with an extremely strong affinity for the power of ice. And since he had almost infinite ability points, Zero decided to refine the staff, and he had done it 144 times, the maximum allowable amount. He had used a total of 22,356 ability points, turned the equipment to a golden attribute equipment, the Frost Shatterer Scepter. The higher the grade of the equipment, the more ability points needed for its refinement. Fortunately, that amount isn't an issue for Zero. Aside from the staff, he also got other loot. He took out the pet egg that he had obtained. It was a normal grade, so he wasn't really excited about it. Also, he got quite a few normal grade pet eggs while farming monsters just now. He decided to use all of them as fodder for the armored scorpion. The armored scorpion liked that idea. It was followed by several notifications that his pet, the armored scorpion, consumed the pet eggs. Later on, he was congratulated by the system since his pet has evolved into a silver armored scorpion, elite grade. The evolved version looked cool with its silver body. Zero was quite pleased with the 2-star magic staff and a silver armored scorpion. Together, with the golden equipment contributed by Yao earlier, Zero should be able to challenge the final boss of the first world. However, before that, he needed to go back and replenish his supply of some materials. He walked out of the portal. It was already dark outside. He was back in his room. Then, his phone rang. Yue picked it up. It was a call about the $390,000 that he owed for his brother's medical bill. If he won't pay, the hospital will halt his brother's treatment. Our boy then asked for the payment card number for the hospital, as he stated that he will transfer it within 10 minutes. It was not a big deal since he could just sell a few pieces of the golden equipment, and he'll be able to earn a few million. He planned to help the original owner of the body to save his brother as a way to repay the original Yue. But then he received a warning that the equipment is bound and it cannot be traded or dropped. He was dumbfounded. He commented that it was a downside of having a 10,000-fold increase buff. Without the ability to trade his equipment, he only has slightly over $10,000 even if he sells all of his silver coins. It pushed him to think of ways to earn money. He looked at his cell phone. He searched and found out that the hourly pay for normal boosting services is too low. But then, he saw something interesting. There was one post hiring a booster for 300,000 gold. A lot of people engage in the post. Yue contacted the person. With a creepy smile on his face, he was intrigued with the deadly bounty. A girl was in front of her PC with several monitors. Yue asked about the specific demands regarding the $300,000 bounty for the boosting mission posted on the forum. The girl replied that he must assist a new hunter from the current batch. Second, he must help the designated person clear the first world. Yue replied that he's okay with that, but he tried to negotiate for the pay to be $390,000. The girl replied that she would even give him $400,000 once the task is completed. He asked when they would start. The girl informs him that the person he's going to escort will meet him at the respawn point in the Doomsday Village in 10 minutes. Yue waited at the Doomsday Village. He was delighted to earn $400,000 just by carrying a person through the first world that he was already going to clear anyway. He saw it as a decent deal with guaranteed profit and no risks. Then he noticed someone. A woman fully covered in cloth, even her eyes and hair. He asked if she's the one who hired a booster. The woman nodded. The people who saw them gossiped. They knew the woman as the calamitous mage. They couldn't imagine that the weakling beast tamer took up the offer. They commented that people nowadays really value money over their lives. Yue watched her. He suggested forming a party, and he assured her that he will help her complete the world's missions. She joined the team, but her ID was hidden. Yue briefed her that to clear the first world, she must complete 2 missions as a prerequisite, one of which is to kill 1,000 monsters, then earn 10 coins. He asked if she knew about it, and she replied yes. Yue explained that in the other world, hunters cannot deal damage to monsters that are 5 or more levels above them. Even if Yue attacks a monster until it is left with 1 health point, it's useless if they can't kill it. He told her that he'll help her level up while completing the missions. They faced a scorpion monster and attacked it with Ultra Fireball. While the damage of the spell obtained as part of the mission rewards previously isn't as high as the Fireball, it's not bad when used supportively as a crowd control skill. Then he froze the scorpion. He asked the woman why she was just standing and told her to finish it off. The woman seemed nervous, but she managed to make purple flames appear on her palms. It made contact with the frozen monster. And then the contact turned into an explosion. She was advised by the system that she leveled up, and it happened thrice. Unbeknownst to her, a scorpion monster is on its way to attack her from behind. Yue screamed for her to look out. Yue made it in time. He was able to grab her and evade the attack. Then he used Ultra Fireball. His attack caused a huge explosion. He looked serious, while the woman he's holding looked at him in awe. But he didn't notice it. Instead, he just told her to get up so they can move to the next leveling spot. He inquired on how old she was to be able to afford paying $400,000. She made a hand sign that shows 21. Yue commented that everyone awakens at 18, so it should have been 3 years since she entered the other world. He asked her for the reason why her level is still low. She stopped walking, which made Yue ask what's wrong. She slowly removed her hood. It revealed her purple hair and eyes. Then she thanked Yue for helping her level up and advised him to leave. She promised him $10,000 to keep him from saying anything to her sister. Yue expressed that he thought she was mute. He assured her that he'll help her clear the first world since it was his promise to her sister. She looked horrified and reminded him of what those people said about her, that she's an embodiment of a calamity or a jinx. She was worried that she'd cause him trouble if they stayed together. Yue was curious to know what embodiment of calamity meant. She was about to explain it, but someone spoke that the calamitous mage is out to harm others again. Several men appeared. One of them said that people on the forum have claimed that as long as one takes on the calamitous mage's mission, that person dies an untimely death. On the contrary, it is said whoever manages to kill her will obtain a large number of experience and ability points. The men decided to attack her in the name of justice. The woman panicked because those men were 5 to 6 levels higher than them. They had no match for them. She told him that since they are only after her, Yue should leave. Yue was pissed off that they wanted to touch his 400,000 without his consent. Someone showed up and noticed a team fight. That person finds it exciting. Several armored people walked in. The men earlier gossiped among themselves. They recognized that the person in front is the young master Liu Yao of the Liu family, the wealthiest family in Linhai City. They know that they are no match for them if they have arrived to steal their kills. A man from the earlier group approached Liu and politely informed him that they didn't mean to offend him. Liu told him to be silent. Yao grabbed Yue's collar and commented that it seemed like they're fated to run into each other. Yue teased him by asking if he's there to give him equipment again. He emphasized that Liu couldn't use any more resurrection scrolls for the next 7 days. Yao raised his hand. Then he commanded everyone to kill Yue. The profile of the woman showed up. Her name is Su Yan, and she's at level 1. Aside from that, everything else about her is unknown. Yue looked serious. Yao was confused why he reacted that way. Then he noticed his people just standing behind him. He bonked them on the head while asking if they did not understand his instructions. His subordinate just replied that he's used to it. They surrounded Yue and Yan. Yue watched their every move. Suddenly they all brought out gifts while requesting Yue to reconsider. Yan was so confused. Yue was surprised too. She asked Yao what was his intention in doing that. He told her to shut up. Then he approached Yue but maintained a safe distance by hiding behind one of his men. He told Yue that he understood that Yue isn't afraid of using brute force like he is, but he doesn't want to resort to that. So, because of that, Yao specially arranged for his men to painstakingly choose the super rare treasures for Yue. Yue could have it all on the condition that Yue will be joining his guild and work for him. In addition to that, he would also pay Yue $50,000 a month. Yue commented that for a poor peasant like Yue, the offer of Yao is something that he wouldn't be able to achieve even after 10 years of hard work. She suggested for him to join Yao's guild. In Yue's head, she expected Yao to be elated that she's helping him persuade Yue to join the guild. And once Yue joins the guild, Yue plans to teach Yue a lesson. Yue replied that he only admires those who are stronger than him. He suggested that Yao should use force, so that way he could consider his offer. Yue got triggered and emphasized that 50,000 is more than Yue can earn in a year, so he doesn't have the right to reject Yao's offer. Yue expressed that birds of the same feather really do flock together. He asked Yue if she really thought that everyone would choose to give up being a human to become a dog like her. Yue asked if they were still going to fight, otherwise they should just get out of his way. Yue asked if they were still going to fight. Yao commanded to let Yue go. Yue couldn't accept his decision and asked him why when Yue was looking down at him. Yao is now angry when he repeated to say that they should just let Yue go. Yue decided to back down. They watched Yue and Yan walk away. One of Yao's subordinates expressed that their boss is generous for letting Yue walk away when Yue tried to kill Yao before. The subordinate insisted that Yao should have just killed the guy. That blabbermouth met Yao's fist. Then Yao expressed that the best things are out of reach, that things that are too easily obtainable are never valuable. Yue clung to him and asked him when he said that he wanted to kill Yue at all costs back then. She asked him when he changed his mind. He replied that it happened after Yue killed him last time. Yao grabbed Yue-er's jaw, and it looked like he's holding his anger back while bringing up what Yue-er said before, that Yue's poor family couldn't afford gold equipment. But it's a puzzle on how a normal monster tame still does so much damage. Yao knew that there's more than that meet the eye. That is why he wants Yue to work for him. Yue-er grits her teeth. Deep inside her, she insisted that Yue is just a poor peasant, and she'll make him grovel at her feet one day. It was late into the night. Yan thanked Yue for protecting her. Yue replied that it was nothing, otherwise he'll lose his 400,000 if she died. And that's not a great thing to end the day. Yan approached him. She suggested calling it quits since she thinks Yue won't be able to complete the mission. Yue asked her why she posted the bounty in the forum when she doesn't have confidence. He added that she could just stand her up. But why did she enter the other world? Yan replied that she gave up a long time ago, and it was her sister's doing. She emphasized that she's the embodiment of calamity, and she showed him something as a proof. The system window displayed that her special class is Calamitous Mage. With her calamitous body, she cannot kill monsters by herself. Instead, she must form a team with others and share the burden of the calamity with her teammate. In that situation, the lives of her and her teammate are connected. Should either of them die, both of them will die, and the level will immediately return to 0. If they disband midway, the level will return to 0, but the teammate will now receive any penalties. When a calamitous mage clears the first world with a calamitous body, the player and their teammate, who have destroyed the calamitous body, will receive a large amount of experience. Deep inside, Yue was surprised that she's a special class hunter. He just found out that aside from the core class hunters and subclass hunters, there are also special class hunters. As long as they overcome the limitations of their class, there is an extremely high chance of a highly ranked class emerging. It may be legendary or even mythic. It's also a shame for normal people to overcome this limitation. They can only be reduced to ordinary people who fade out the public's attention. Yan shared that she had already tried over 100 times ever since she had awakened this special class 3 years ago. Yet, she never succeeded. In addition, there is the rule in the other world, preventing one from teaming up with someone who is over 10 levels higher than them. She wondered how it is possible for two people who are at best level 10 to defeat the first world's boss. She advised him to leave. Yue asked her what if he says that it's possible. He told her that he can help her clear the first world. Yan was surprised and hopeful. She grabbed him and asked if he's serious. Inside her head, she admitted that for 3 years, she had always dreamed of shattering that damned class limitation and becoming a hunter revered by masses. She wondered if it's possible. Yue told her to stop rambling and invited her to clear the world's first mission. In the first world, hunters must first complete world missions to earn the qualifications to challenge the world boss. The first mission is to kill 1,000 monsters. Second is to collect 10 silver coins. Yan got scared upon seeing Yue's power. Within a few hours, he carried Yan through the world's missions. Now they had finished off 1,000 monsters and had farmed a lot of coins. Yue told her that the prerequisite missions are complete, so they can challenge the boss now. Yan replied that there's no problem with that. Yue asked her what's wrong. Yan expressed that she couldn't understand how a strong person like Yue would take the mission. Yue replied that it's because he's not a typical guy. Internally, Yue finds what he said cringy because in reality, he's in dire need of cash. Yan was actually impressed with his answer earlier. The system window appeared containing the details of the first world missions. She tapped yes and was alerted that she had opened the first world. The origin of Nightmare's boss arena. It was a door to Demon's Abyss. Yue asked her if she's ready. They walked inside the door. And now, they are in the boss arena, Demon's Abyss. They have 1 hour for the boss fight. Meaning, they have to defeat the boss, Berserk Wild Boar King, within 1 hour. And if they fail to defeat the Berserk Wild Boar King within the time limit, or are killed by the Berserk Wild Boar King, the challenge will be deemed as a failure. Yue gave Yan Ai-Lin some potions and items. Yan was surprised that those were resurrection scrolls, instant recall medicine, and many more very expensive, high consumables. Yue can easily clear the first world alone, but he's aware that death could happen any time in the other world. He reminded her to always be on guard. He prepared by letting the silver-armored scorpion equip the defensive gear that they got earlier and the hero guardian's armor that Liu Yao dropped. He expected the scorpion to tank the boss's attack. Yan heard something. Yue told her that the boss had arrived. It was one mean-looking wild boar. The Berserk Wild Boar King is at level 10 with a physical 2-star boss. This beast is the ruler of the origin of nightmares. It guards the passageway of the first world. The Berserk Wild Boar King crushes anyone who tries to break through the origin of the nightmares to enter the second world. Yan trembled in fear, but she talked herself out of it. But she recalled that last time, they couldn't bear it with a party of dozens of people, and they only have 2 people now. Yue noticed how Yan might have developed a subconscious fear of the Wild Boar King after too many past failures. Yue told her to hide somewhere and heal up the silver-armored scorpion. She asked what Yue would do. He replied that he'll be taking care of the pig. As if triggered from the word pig, the wild boar attacks. Yue met its attack with a super fireball. The health of the wild boar was lessened with negative 325. The room was filled with smoke. The wild boar looked like it got angrier. Yue commented that boss monster's sturdiness is nothing to scoff at. The monster roared loudly. It attacked again, but the scorpion blocked it off. Its feet dig on the ground, causing some parts of it to shatter. Then Yue used consecutive firing fireballs. The wild boar wasn't able to avoid that. No matter how sturdy it is, as long as the silver-armored scorpion can withstand its attack, Yue has an advantage. The boss monster used wild charges. It threw the silver-armored scorpion backwards. The boss monster roared loudly. Yue knew that this fight wasn't that simple. Now, the boss monster went on a rampage. Yan yelled for Yue to dodge. The silver-armored scorpion braced itself, but Yue just stood there, waiting for the perfect opportunity. He watched the boss monster as it charged towards him. The Berserk Wild Boar King is almost at Yue's face. He found the right timing. It was time to use Super Icicle. The Berserk Wild Boar King was covered in ice. Yan was surprised and worried since a low-star boss like that has a 50% tenacity naturally, so its frozen status won't last for too long. The boss monster roared loudly. The boss monster was enraged, and usually it will trigger the death stomp. The armored scorpion blocked its way as it charged towards Yue. Yue decided to add more vitality to the armored scorpion. Yan agreed. She did what they had spoken about, and then she noticed that even with the added vitality, the armored scorpion won't be able to hold on for much longer. They needed a stronger attack that could deal much greater damage. Yue told her that it won't be long. He just needs her to buy some time for him, and that's more than enough. He used Icicle Fire Dance. The Berserk Wild Boar King crashed on the large ice, and it roared loudly. Even if it's a level 10 2-star Wild Boar King, it won't be able to withstand a 2-star gold equipment and a mythic class's constant barrage. Round Sphere floats in the air, and Yue has been enveloped in a golden glow. He used a combo skill fireball to the boss monster. Yan was amazed since she had never seen anyone utilize those 2 skills that skillfully before. The boss monster halts, and it dropped dead. A notification window appeared and congratulated him for defeating the level 10 2-star Boss Berserk Wild Boar King. He had received 100% of all rewards like plus 6,000 experience points and ability points 1,000 W. He also obtained plus 12 silver, plus 16 LV to meat, skill book titled Berserk, to sacrifice 10% of defense to increase 5% of attack power that lasts for 10 seconds. He decided to leave the skill book for one of her pets. He also received a magic class Berserker coat. It's LV10, 2-star type, gold rank. When the wearer's vitality isn't enough, it will absorb damage for the wearer, utilizing mana to negate the damage inflicted. Every 2 mana, 1 damage will be negated. In addition to that, there's also a Bloodlust Berserker Warring Ring. It is a Bloodlust equipment that always regenerates 55 vitalities for each critical hit on an enemy. Jan also received a congratulatory message for breaking through the class restriction of the Calamitous Mage and obtained the Calamitous Body. Now, she has evolved into an epic class Taboo Mage. She got teary now that she not only got rid of herself as the Calamitous Mage class, she even managed to evolve into an epic rank core class. They were surprised when another screen appeared. Meanwhile, on the plaza, the news that they have killed the world boss, Berserk Wild Boar King, was announced. The people couldn't believe that it only took them half a day to clear the first world of the other world. Then the crowd noticed that there weren't any notifications of other hunters. They find it impossible that only one of them was able to clear it. One of them recognized the name Su Yan and recalled that she's the Calamitous Mage without a single ounce of attack power, so she must have been boosted by someone in order to clear the mission. Then they were able to put the pieces together, that the guy she's with had a dead weight with him and still managed to kill a world boss all on his own. They couldn't believe it. A system window appeared and congratulated Yan and Yue for clearing the first world called the Origin of Evil. The second world, the Zombie Siege, has been activated. Hunters are instructed to head to the second world. A red and blue tunnel appeared. The red tunnel leads them towards the second world, while the blue tunnel leads them back to the first world. Yue decided that it's better to refill their supplies first before going to the second world. He turned his back and made his way towards the blue tunnel. Yan was surprised and asked where he was going. He replied that he's going to meet Yan's sister to get his money. That's when Yan realized that Yue is the mysterious hunter who got the first clear for the hidden dungeon, whose name is Zero. At the Linhai City Center, Su family's office building, a woman informed Jinya that there's a call for her. On the other line, Yue spoke that he had completed the task and he'll give her his card details so she could send over the money to him. She replied that she has to verify it first, so she'll just contact him later. Jinya scoffed and complained that it's not even a half day, and he already dared to say that he completed the mission. She thought that he was a scammer, but Yan burst the door open and exclaimed that she managed to do it. Jinya asked if it's true. Yan shared that not only she break through the Calamitous Body, she also obtained an epic core class, which is Taboo Mage. Jinya was delighted. No one in the Su family has ever obtained such a rare hunter class. She assumed that Yan was helped by several people to clear the mission quickly. Yan corrected Jinya, saying that only one helped her. Jinya was surprised. She immediately went to her desk. She asked Yan if the person who boosted her was a hunter named Zero. She replied yes. It was all over the discussion board on the internet. Jinya grinned at the idea that both Yan and Zero managed to break the record that hasn't been broken for hundreds of years, and are going to be one of the first few individuals to enter the second world. Instantly, Jinya called for a meeting with the board of directors. In order to clear the second world first, she planned to recruit Zero to their guild named Misty Rain, back to the slums. Mr. Zhang was informed that the hospital had received the payment. They asked him how they may be of service to him. Deep inside, Yue thought of how the people that gave him $400,000 are pretty good at keeping their promises, considering that they sent him the money as soon as he requested it. Yue told the hospital that they should cure his brother. The hospital reminded him that his brother's injuries are pretty severe, so they will need him to remain in the hospital for observation and recuperation, and it will cost $40,000 to $50,000 per month. Hearing that it would cost a large sum, Yue regretted agreeing to work for the rich bastard from before. His phone rang again. He answered, and immediately, he was offered to join the Misty Rain Guild. Jinya told him that she's the vice president, Su Jinya. She assured him that the company will provide him with insurance, housing funds, as well as a monthly salary of 30,000 each month. He is also entitled to receive bonuses for his performance. It was timely. Yue immediately expressed that he will join the guild, but he has one condition, that they must never intrude into his personal life or freedom. That made Yan and Jinya nervous. One of the board members argued that they could never give him that since he will be working for them. If everyone in the guild does what they want to do on their own, then there's no point in actually having a guild. Yue replied that if they can't accept his conditions, then they could just forget about it. Then he hung up. Su Chen, the Su family group's CEO, asked Jinya if it was the guy that she referred to regardless of the conditions. Jinya explained that the man recently became a hunter, and yet he only used half a day's worth of time to clear the First World's books while having to carry Yan. Not to mention, he broke the 100-year record that no one could break. She insists on obtaining such a rare talent before the others get to him. A board member was about to argue with that, but Yan stopped him and told him that Yue is really good at what he does. Jinya expressed her opinion to agree with Yue's terms for now and bring him over to the Misty Rain Guild for further assessment. Yan supported her. She also echoed what Yue just said, that he won't be completely free, and that he will still join in guild activities if they have any need of him or any large-scale activities. Chen agreed, but pointed out that if Yue refuses to listen to them, then he will have to make the decision himself. Meanwhile, Yue stared at his phone while thinking about the Dragon Kingdom's Zhening Province Guild. It is the 5th in the ranking. Even if it's 2 ranks lower than the Supreme Guild, it still seems pretty good. Adding on to that its monthly salary and commissions, Yue calculated that he would have more than enough for each month's hospital fees. His phone then rang again. When he answered the call, he was informed that they are willing to accept his conditions. They asked him when he will be able to report for work in their company. He replied that he will work from home instead of the office. He explained that since the office and his home are both in Linhai City, his spawn point when logging in won't be affected. Jinya was caught off guard. Yue asked if it was possible, and if that's the case, they could just forget their agreement. That pushed Jinya to accept him working from home. In Yue's head, he thought of the guild master as amiable and pretty to talk with. And with his financial issues all settled, he can fully focus on clearing the alternate world. A few moments later, he was prompted to select the world that he would like to enter. Blue tab shows the first world, the origin of nightmares, and the red tab shows the second world, Zombie Siege. And of course, our ever-so-confident and overpowered MC chose to enter the second world. He entered the portal and reached the other side. The system window appeared and welcomed him. He read the screen. It was a description of the second world. That world is about to face a huge calamity with the apocalypse nearing. Humans that have been exposed to darkness enshrouding the city have gradually gone through various mutations. Zombies are about to lay a siege to the city, and as the sole survivor of the Nodding City, they are requested to work together with everyone else to protect the Nodding City. If not, when the zombies breach the city, there will be nowhere to run. The World Mission 1 is to clear a hidden dungeon. World Mission 2 is to participate and successfully fend off 3 zombie waves. It is also written on the screen that the tunnel to the dungeon of Second World's boss will only be activated after completing all of the world's missions mentioned above. Only by clearing that boss will they be able to enter the third world. Zero knew that the lowest level in the second hidden dungeon is level 15. So, if he wants to have a chance at clearing it first, he will need to level up a bit. While the second mission requires him to wait for an opportunity. He got distracted when he heard someone yell that the zombie horde would be coming in 2 days. That person is Nolan, the captain of soldiers. Nolan complained loudly that those disgusting zombies are always attacking the Nodding City, so there aren't enough weapons left in the storage for their brothers in arms to use. Zero noted that even though Nodding City is the second world's safety zone, the city still often gets attacked by zombie hordes. Thus, the city always has a suffocating tension to its atmosphere. Nolan approaches Zero and welcomes him. He informed Zero that war is about to erupt. He asked if Zero can go to the west side of the Nodding City and kill some of the mutated zombies there so that they may gather some resources and materials for weapons. Zero knew that the Nodding City had a couple of missions within it. That particular mission has the highest difficulty and covers a wide range of things. The targets also range from level 2 to level 20. The screen of the system displayed the details for the material gathering quest. It is a regular mission with level 200 difficulty. The Nodding City's weapon storage needs to be replenished urgently. Zero is instructed to proceed to the west of Nodding City and take over the garrison camp that's currently full of mutated zombies and kill the zombies within to obtain materials. He is to collect 100 each of the Fire Element Corpse Core, Ice Element Corpse Core, and Poison Element Corpse Core. Reward is 100,000 experiences, with plus 50 silver, plus 9,000 ability points, plus 2 random star equipment, skill book, or a pet egg, plus 1 chance. That made Zero smile. The efforts of this mission are being rewarded generously. After finishing up this mission, he expects that he'll be able to clear the second world as well. He told Nolan that he can count on him. Nolan thanked him. Outside the Nodding City, at the garrison camp, everything was on fire, and the zombies casually walked around. Zero stepped forward and announced that he'll begin. Our boy was also with his pet, silver-armored scorpion. He started things off by casting his super fireball. One zombie burned, while the other was courageous enough to attack. It targeted the scorpion, but Zero's scorpion easily crushed it. Zero realized the possibility that the fire element zombies have fire resistance to fire spells, causing the damage inflicted to be greatly lowered. Because of that, he decided not to use fire-based spells. He took out his spear and uttered how he'll see them last. Zero instructed the silver-armored scorpion to absorb the flame zombie's aggro. It held the zombie's arm with its clippers. Zero was amazed that the silver-armored scorpion's equipped items, in addition to its protective skill, have given it a lifesteal-like ability. The flame zombie can't deal any damage to it. But it was funny how the little zombie dangles from its claws. Zero decided to make his next move, and that is to fight the fire zombie with ice. The zombie was encased in a crystal. Zero had defeated the level 11 flame zombie. With that, he gained plus 50 experience points and plus 110,000 ability points. Zero got the copper coins. There's only a few of them, so it looked like the drop rate of monsters of such levels isn't very high. His eyes were determined. In one swift move, he defeated several fire zombies. After that, he looked at his screen and uttered that he only managed to collect fire element corpse cores after toiling away for the entire afternoon. Not only is he heaps away from completing the mission, but drops are pathetic too. He decided to go eat first and then continue at night since it's essential for humans to eat to be able to function. But a loud roar surprised him. He had an inkling of what it could be. A boss monster is respawning. A LV-14 Icefire Zombie Commander, magic-type boss monster appeared. Zero saw it and confirmed that his guess was right. Boss monsters are worth a lot. He's expecting to somehow get a couple of good pieces of equipment or a skill book. It made him giddy. He took out his spear. The zombie commander noticed him. It roared loudly. It attacked him with ice and made his feet stuck on ice. Zero knew it was bad news. The zombie commander threw the glacial spike at him. Zero was hit, causing him to lose 352 health. A fireball appeared from his spear, and he hit the zombie commander with it, along with some frost damage. He noticed that his skills aren't even half as effective when used against the dual attribute Icefire zombie. It is a complete counter to his current playstyle. He called for a silver-armored scorpion and it defended him. A bead of sweat fell from his forehead upon seeing the damage. The zombie commander gathered strength in its hand. He created a magic circle that has several pointy ends, and he released that attack towards the scorpion. The system informed Zero that his pet, the silver-armored scorpion, had perished in battle. He can revive the silver-armored scorpion at the respawn fountain after 3 hours. He also received a penalty of -1 to his pet's level and -10 to its loyalty. Another system window appeared, and it showed that the effects of the necromancer class have been triggered. His pet, the silver-armored scorpion, will revive automatically in 1 hour and is spared from all death penalties. The zombie commander attacked him again. Zero realized that the zombie commander is way too strong compared to the first world's boss monster. Suddenly, the zombie commander was hit with lightning. He was surprised that it was 400k. He meant that it was the person who he received 400,000 from, which is Yan. Yan told him that she will apply crowd control while he deals damage. He agrees to it. He told the zombie commander that even if the effectiveness has been halved, he'll make sure to crush him to his death. The zombie commander roared loudly. It was hit by a fireball. Zero was confused that a fireball is used as crowd control. But Yan added illuminate on her attack. It electrified the zombie commander, causing it to groan loudly. Zero was amazed how Yan casted 3 skills without even giving the zombie commander a chance to move. He didn't know that the power of an epic class taboo mage is that powerful. He proceeds to attack both with a fireball and icicle. That powerful attack landed on the zombie commander's body, making it groan loudly. Yan and Zero continuously attacked it together. Both of their attacks even looked like a painting masterpiece as their skills synced together. And, later on, the system window appeared, congratulating them for defeating the level 14 boss monster. With that, they gained plus 3,000 experience points, 2-person team 80% plus last hit 20%, and ability points of plus 4,200,000. Zero called Miss 400,000 and expressed his relief that she was there. He told her that they are going to split the rewards evenly. Yan replied that it was fine, since she was just doing her missions and ran into him accidentally. In addition to that, she hasn't even thanked him properly for helping her clear the first world. Zero was confused since Yan's sister had paid him already. Yan clarified that it was from her sister and not her. She introduced herself as Jin Yan. He asked Zero for his name. Our boy had this doubt for a second as he was not expecting this, but he still shook her hands and told her his full name. Yan suggested that they team up to farm monsters. Yue inquired about Yan's class effect. Yan enthusiastically explained that all crowd control skills can be converted into silence, and the crowd control duration will be increased by 30% plus 1 additional second of silence. The cooldown of all skills will also be reduced by 30%. With that, Yue knew that his farming efficiency would rise exponentially thanks to her. Yan asked him where he's going. He replied that he'll drop by Nodding City for a bit. He suggested they meet in their current location after 10 minutes so they can farm together. Yan emitted soft golden glow on her fingertips. She recalled making a promise to marry whoever helps her break out of the body of calamity. Eventually, she helped herself get off that dreamy state. Back in the city. Yue checked the dropped items from the boss monster. There are 3 equipment pieces and 1 skill book. He decided to sell 1-star equipment, and the remaining item is just enough to boost his current battle power. He wore the Icefire mobility boots, which are a grade 2-star, mage class, monster tamer. When the user attacks their arch-enemy, the user's agility will increase by 10 for 5 seconds. The effect is unstackable. Yue was pleased with the additional agility. Next, he needed stronger damage skills. He used refinement, and the system window explained about Super Flaming Missile Rank A. He could summon 3 flaming missiles to attack the enemy. Each missile does 110% magic damage. It costs 72 mana and has 5 seconds cooldown. He decided to try out the skill. Now his speed has increased and he even has a new skill. He's confident that those monsters won't be able to touch him anymore. The system window popped out. It was from bare-faced Sujinyan. She's inviting him to join the Misty Rain Guild. Yue accepted it. Now that he had joined the guild and settled his equipment and skills, it's time for him to continue with the missions. A few moments later, a zombie was hit with the super flaming missile. It was burnt. Turns out these two have started farming monsters. Jan was impressed by how he had killed the flame zombie with just one shot. He complimented her back, saying that her situational awareness and mechanics are really good, and her grasp of skill timing is decent too. He also mentioned her mythic great equipment with great attributes too. Jan shared that they were all given to her by her sister, saying that it will all suit a taboo mage. Deep inside, Yue was envious of how rich they were. Jan inquired if Yue kept his equipment invisible. Also, she noticed that his attack power is high. It made her curious if he also has mythic grade equipment. Yue replied that it has nothing to do with equipment. He just has a mythic ranked class. Jan couldn't believe it, since there are always revelations when mythic ranked hunters awaken. However, there were no revelations on the awakening day that year, so there were no mythic ranked classes appearing for that year. Yue replied that it's okay if she doesn't believe him. Deep inside, he knew that the reason was because he didn't obtain his class by awakening. They finished collecting the fire and ice element corpse cores. The mission will be over once they finish farming the hypertoxic zombies. Jan agreed that it's time to go to the hypertoxic lair now. The system window showed their progress. Currently, they have 100 over 100 for fire and ice element corpse core, and 0 for poison element corpse core. An announcement from Misty Rain Guild appeared. Everyone is advised to gather in the zombie city within 10 minutes, and the absentees will be kicked out of the guild. Jan wondered what crappy plan Chen Jun had. He never explains anything and just threatens everyone. Yue asked who Chen Jun is, since this person was really imposing. Jan explained that Chen Jun is Linhai City's branch head of Misty Rain Guild. Chen's father, Yan's uncle, is the Su family's director. Su Chen are sworn friends. Chen Jun's position was given to him by Yan's uncle. Yue suggested going to the meetup location first because of the guild event, in another setting. A zombie roared loudly. Several people attacked it all at once, but they were all blown away. Aside from the large zombie, humans are also fighting against each other. Someone called out to Liu Yao and told him that they, the Misty Rain Guild, had discovered the boss first, and yet they are trying to steal it from them midway through. It was despicable. Liu Yao argues that strength is king and ordered to kill the pathetic Misty Rain Pavilion. This fucker was back at it again. But then, they were all interrupted as a magic circle appeared in the sky and it rained down fire. It caught Yao's attention. He was furious that someone was getting in his way. Yue appeared and asked Yao if he's trying to steal their guild's loot. 1 hour ago, a gigantic zombie was wreaking havoc. Several men shoot an arrow while others are defending, but they were all blasted away by this gigantic monster. The men informed their superior that without the taboo mage to control the boss, attacking it blindly is taking up too much stamina. One member replied that they have nothing to fear since Jinyan would be there soon. For the meantime, their plan is to exhaust the monster as much as possible. Yue stepped forward. Him and Yan caught the attention of many. They recognized her as the second daughter of the Su family, the iceberg beauty from the legends since she's extremely cold. They gossiped about her, especially about the news of her class restriction being broken recently. Then they noticed the man beside her, the one who helped her break her class restriction. They wondered how it was possible when the man looked like any other ordinary person. Yan blushed, and she told Yue not to mind their nonsense. She clarified that she isn't cold at all. Yue looked like he didn't care that much when he simply replied, "Okay." Yan blushed, and deep inside she scolded herself for acting so unrefined. A member of the guild was relieved to see her, but his jaw dropped when he saw that Yan came together with a guy. Chen Jun and Yan scolded him for prying into her dating life. Jun replied that he's not doing that, but he's worried about her because the guy might be plotting something. Yan assured him that she's capable of differentiating right from wrong. Seeing as he called them there, she asked if there's a pressing issue. Jun reported that the monsters in Zombie City have respawned, and a zombie king even appeared. Yan and Yue exchanged glances. Yan couldn't believe that a zombie king boss appeared. in the zombie at that, where the chance of monsters respawning is low. She told Yue that if they defeat the zombie city's boss, the guild's prestige and overall strength will definitely improve. Yue then decided that they should go, since they also have to complete the guild mission. Jun blocked Yue and told him that he didn't have to go. Yue asked why. Jun replied that it's because Yue is a beast tame who just entered the guild suspiciously. He suspected that Yue was dreaming of a free assist. When the crowd heard that, they couldn't believe that Yue was a beast tamer. That class's growth rate in all attributes is low and hard to develop. They also judged his equipment. Seeing that it's not too special, they assumed that he's broke and was just there to waste the guild's money. They suggested to Jun not to allow him to go in case he holds them back and wastes the guild's resources. Yan got mad and asked if any of them really knew who he was. But Yue just simply replied that it's Jun's call since he's in charge. Yan was pissed off. She clings on to Yue and announces that if Yue is not going, she won't either. Jun panicked. He asked Yan to calm down and reasoned that he's just trying to think of Yue's safety, since he could die in battle if he's too weak. He agreed to let him join if that's what Yan wants, but Yue is only allowed to watch, and that he must prepare his own resurrection scroll. Jun dragged Yan since they were waiting for her to control the zombie king. They already had dealt with so much damage. Yan asked Yue to wait for her, and she promised to come back soon. Yue knew that it would take quite a bit of effort with Jinyan joining in on top of their numbers. Taking down the level 15 boss monster should only be a matter of time. He saw it as perfect timing. He decided to take a look at the strength of the guild, ranked 5th on the provincial leaderboard. Back to the present time. Someone recognized Zhang Yue. They were surprised at how much damage he made. Yao asked if he joined the Misty Rain Guild. Yue air butts in the conversation and states that Yue had rejected Yao when he invited him first to the Supreme Guild, and yet Yue joined Misty Rain to act as their dog. Yue air told him that he's so despicable. A purple light formed a circle, and it struck Yue air. Yan sighed while stating that it finally became quiet. Yao called Yue to ask how much Misty Rain was paying him. He proposed to double or maybe triple that amount in an instant. He also promised to give him a vice president position, and he can be the guild's CEO. Yan got angry at Yao for trying to steal Yue right in front of their eyes. Yue replied, stating that a person has to honor their promises and maintain trust. Since he already joined the Misty Rain, he doesn't plan on abandoning his current contract. But he also stated that he doesn't know the future, so they'll just have to see when the time comes. Yao was satisfied with that response. He told Yue that he's free to join the Supreme Guild anytime he wants, since their doors are always open for him. Yao gathered his guild members because they were about to go. The guild members were confused. They reported to Yao that the boss monster is almost in their hands. They asked if they would really leave it. Yao got mad and yelled at them for being hung up on that. He asked them if they were that desperate. He explained that he's looking at the big picture and his members couldn't see that. Yue and Yan watched as Yao walked away. Yan thanked Yue, and Yue responded that it was simply the right action to take. All of a sudden, they heard a loud roar followed by an attack. The monster has a large weapon, and this monster is gigantic and menacing, suitable for its name, Zombie King of Demise. Yue grinned and told the monster, "Let's dance, fucker." Yue used a super fireball and hit the Zombie King in the gut. Everyone dropped their jaws from the shock. They didn't expect him to be that strong. He called Yan, aka 40,000, and told her to do it one more time. Yan agreed. And she used her crown control to immobilize the Zombie King. Yue gathered his power on the tip of his staff. Then he released a super flaming missile that burnt the Zombie King alive. And that was the end of it. Its body dropped to the floor. The system window appeared and congratulated him for defeating the level 15 2-star boss, the Zombie King of Demise. He gained 7,080 experience points, performance points plus 9%, and last hit 80%. He also received ability points of 1,500 W. Everyone was impressed. They wondered where he came from. Even if the monster was on the verge of death, it was still a boss. That's why many of them can't believe that he had defeated it by himself. Not only that, they also noticed how Yue got the entire Supreme Guild to retreat. Even the young master of the Liu family is respectful towards him. Yan approached Yue and thanked him. Had it not been for him, the Zombie King may have been stolen by the Supreme Guild. Yue replied that it was also his duty as a member of the Misty Rain Guild. Everyone beamed with smiles as they realized that Yue is a big shot. At Knotting City. Yan clings to Yue as they walk. The members of the guild followed behind them. Jun angrily asked why they were all back. Then he asked if they had defeated the boss. One of the guild members reported that the monster tamer who came with the young miss chased the Supreme Guild away and even took the boss down. Jun was surprised to hear that. He thought of the guys as a useless monster tamer, so he had to verify if he's really that strong. The guild member replied that the monster tame is extremely powerful to the point that he can one-shot anyone with a normal attack. With such an expert, the guild member believes that their guild will become stronger. Jun shouted and cursed at the monster tamer. He asked him if he's doing it on purpose, and if he only plans to take action after everyone's dead. He stabbed Yue on the chest using his finger and scolded him, saying that whoever Yue is, he should know that Jun is the president and the one who has the authority to kick him out of the guild if he ignores the guild's orders and acts recklessly. Yue grabbed his finger and bent it. And Yue reminded Jun that he was the one who ordered him not to do anything. Jun made a fuss that Yue dared to lay a hand on the president. Yue ignored him and told him that the guild mission that he assigned was to kill the boss. Yue challenged him to tell him if he had completed that mission. Yan joined the conversation and told Jun that without Yue, they wouldn't have been able to get the boss and would have been wiped out. And this time, it's all thanks to Yue, and he deserves his contributions to be recorded. Everyone showed their agreement by nodding their heads. Yan invited Yue to continue their quest. Jun was left furious. He assigned a member to keep an eye on Yue at all times, and if they discover his weakness, they should report back immediately. The whole area was covered in violet mist. Yan complained that it stinks. Yue explained that hypertoxic zombies are much harder to deal with than both fire and frost zombies. He advised her to keep her guard up. She asked if the zombie deals a lot of damage. Yan explained that while hypertoxic zombies do not have fire or ice attributes, they have an extremely terrifying skill. The hypertoxic zombie has a hypertoxic physique that causes those they attack or those that attack them to enter a poisoned state that cannot be cleansed for 5 seconds. Every second, the target loses 6% of their maximum health. It can only be inflicted once per target. Yan was worried. Yue assured her that it won't be a problem if she heals in time. Yan remembered something. She gave him the mission reward for completing the guild mission. Yue thanked her for that. Yan casted her skill, and it immobilized a zombie, and she cued Yue to do his job. Yue attacked it with a triple cast, causing a lot of damage to the zombie. Yan couldn't help but notice that his damage was really high. He can kill zombies in a single hit every time they farm. Yue replied that with Yan's help in controlling the zombies, it's also much easier to collect the zombie cores for the quest. They walked deeper in the gloomy forest. Yue sensed something. The guild member reported to Jun that Yue is currently doing a quest to collect zombie cores with the young miss, and that the two seem pretty close. Jun chewed on his shirt in an attempt to hold in his anger. He's jealous that the two were talking and laughing when ever since Yan awakened the calamitous mage class 3 years ago, she hasn't even so much as cracked a smile at him. The guild members seemed exhausted with this drama. He suggested that they have to think of a way to kick out Yue from the guild and separate him from the young miss. Suddenly, a system window appeared. It is a zone announcement in Knotting City. All hunters in Knotting City were advised of a zombie wave in 30 minutes. The zombie wave will be level 13, thus, every hunter was asked to prepare to defend the city. Jun stated that Yue openly defied him and stole his woman. He shared that he had thousands of ways to kick him out of the misty rain, but he won't let him off so easily. The guild member got nervous and told Jun that there are resurrection scrolls in the other world, and there are safe zones at the resurrection point where Peking is prohibited. He thought that it would be difficult to kill the guy. Jun stated the law of the second world. When the zombie wave attacks, the protective mechanism of safe zones towards hunters will vanish. Just a single zombie wave is all he needs to kill the guy.
Thank you all for watching. Please watch this next Giga Chad video, and I'll see you guys next time. Also, support the channel by joining the Summon Club membership. You can also support by just liking the video and being awesome.